here are on social media. Pretty much everyone. And in a study done by the New York Behavioral Health, 93% of all young adults and teens in the United States are on social media. And 25% of these young adults and teens go on their favorite site at least 10 times a day. Most of their sites more than that. This is all in lieu of having an interpersonal connection with their peers or their superiors or even just their families. The majority of all interactions between people in our generation is on social media. Even if you're at a party or just an event or something, you're usually on your phone, Snapchatting it or talking about a post that somebody did. And this focus on the non-tangible world is causing you to not be present mentally and physically sometimes. Social media is destroying the interpersonal relationship skills that we are all supposed to be developing while we go through high school and college. Social media is kind of superficial and it is taking control of our lives. USA Today says that 11% of teens and young adults in the US would prefer to stay indoors and just watch TV or go online rather than go out and put away technology for a little while. Numbers like this, while that's still a low number, that only 11% of people want to do that, Keller Fay Labs responded to USA Today and said that very soon those numbers are going to increase and it's going to be more and more, and eventually nobody's going to want to go out and socialize because they can just do it right there in their bed on their phone. And since many people only communicate online, they don't really know how to get a good personal connection with somebody. They don't know how to communicate about what was going on in their day, or talk to their parents about just life and stuff like that. But conversations in person, genuine ones, are much more powerful. Media-based interactions kind of mask your true thoughts and feelings. And Forbes tells us that 93% of communication is nonverbal, and that is also the same amount of context that is stripped away when you communicate over social media. This makes your relationships with your friends, your families, your superiors, and your peers kind of fake and impersonal. It's easier to lie about just what's going on in your life, like, oh yeah, I'm totally okay, or oh, I can't go out tonight because I have this other thing going on, when in reality you just want to sit at home and browse the internet. But it's easy to improve your interpersonal skills and wean yourself off of social media. The Huffington Post wrote an article about this, and they had an outline that had 3 main points on how to do this. Their first point is to limit your friends on social media to people that actually have an effect on your day-to-day life. Don't, following celebrities and stuff can be interesting, but what happens in their lives doesn't actually affect you personally, so why follow them? And also set a timer for whenever you go on social media, because if you force yourself to only spend 15-20 minutes a day, then you're going to have that much more time to connect with somebody. And also a big thing is unplugging yourself while your device is plugged in. So while your phone is charging, instead of waiting for it to charge and just sitting there playing on it, why not go take a walk outside, go play with your dog or something like that. This will all help to limit your sharing on social media, which will eventually wean you off of it even more. And All Business tells us that by limiting your social media use, you can start to redevelop and improve your interpersonal skills, which will go a long way in the future. By limiting your social media use, it shows that you actually care and are present with your colleagues. You start to become a good communicator rather than just kind of mumble about the things that actually matter. And Becoming a Minimalist, a article or a website about social media, tells us that by putting down social media, you realize how much it actually controls you. And it shows you that a genuine connection is much more important and valuable. So if you don't actively try to improve this dilemma, it's only going to get worse. It's said that face-to-face connections are going to start to mimic our social media ones. By social work today. And they also mentioned that it's kind of a never-ending cycle. You rely on social media because your face-to-face connections don't feel personal, but that's because social media is ruining your communication skills. And EduUtopia, a website that was developed by a university, tells us that by limiting your activity on social media, you'll help to stop the impending epidemic that is developing with our generation and is very most likely to happen with the younger generations. And a big part about this is social media kind of revolves around conformity. Everybody, follows each other, and it's just one big loop. And so if you start to wean yourself off social media, if you start to spend less time online and more time with people doing things outside or playing board games, then more people will want to follow you and do the same thing because they'll see how much happy you are. So I encourage you to be active in the non-active movement and help prevent your friends and families from losing the personal connections that bind them together.